In a world that never stops moving, where raiders scream across highways, super mutants fire their miniguns into the haze, and Brotherhood airships roar overhead, there lies one island where none of it matters. An island surrounded by salt water and silence. An island where nothing happens. This place is one of the largest and strangest locations in Fallout 4. It rests off the coast, visible from Boston Harbor, yet detached from the game's pulse. When you finally wade through the irradiated waters or paddle across in power armor, you expect a hidden settlement, a vault, maybe a story waiting to unfold. Instead, you find emptiness. There are no settlers, no traders, no dialogue trees or quests. Only wind, waves, and the creaking remains of a world that once was. It's a place that almost seems forgotten by the game itself. A quiet, self-contained world where time has ultimately stopped. Spectacle Island doesn't feel like it belongs in the same world as the Commonwealth. It's geographically part of the map, yes, but spiritually it's somewhere else entirely. To reach it, the player must brave a long swim through irradiated waters, a rare and deliberate design choice in Fallout 4. The journey feels isolating, as if the ocean itself is trying to keep you away. When you finally emerge from the surf onto its beach, there's a strange sense of relief, followed by the disorienting realization that there's no one there to greet you. No radio chatter, no settlements asking for help, no signs of civilization beyond a few rusted boats and broken shacks. The first sound you might hear is the screech of mutilated Murlocs scuttling from the shoreline, a reminder that even here, nature, twisted though it may be, has reclaimed everything. Spectacle Island is large enough to suggest history, but the game never really explains it. There are only hints, a grounded ship, a cabin with strange wiring. Like an unsolved riddle, the island invites you to fill in its silence with your own imagination. The most prominent structure on Spectacle Island is the beached cargo ship, leaning entirely toward the shore like a wounded giant. Inside, the air feels stale. There's a terminal that hums faintly with life, one of the few pieces of active technology on the island, and it tells you a story in fragments. A man once lived here. He was trying to restart a generator to drive away the island's aggressive wildlife. His logs suggest frustration, isolation, and ultimately, resignation. When you activate the generator yourself, the Murlocs surge from the water in a furious swarm, as though awakened by your intrusion. It's the island's only event, a brief storm of violence that quickly ends in silence once again. And after that, nothing. The ship becomes another empty shell, terminals don't matter anymore, the island returns to its stillness. It's almost poetic. The one time you manage to bring power back to Spectacle Island, all it gives you in return is chaos. Everywhere else in Fallout 4, people are fighting to survive. Settlers farm irradiated soil, scavengers sift through ruin, and raiders build fortresses in the bones of skyscrapers. But on Spectacle Island, there is none of that. It feels like a place that the rest of the Commonwealth has simply forgotten. The isolation is total. The radio doesn't reach here. The Minutemen never send you a distress signal. Even the Institute, which has spies and synths across the land, seems unaware of its existence. For all the players' involvement in Fallout 4's interconnected web of factions and war, Spectacle Island remains outside the story, a world apart. It's a kind of geographical purgatory. Some players describe it as peaceful, others find it deeply unsettling. The emptiness gnaws at you. You walk the shores expecting to find something meaningful, a clue, a survivor, a sign of life, but all you get is wind and water. In a game defined by noise, Spectacle Island's silence is its most profound feature. Ironically, for a place where nothing happens, Spectacle Island can be made into one of the most functional and visually striking settlements in Fallout 4. Once you activate the generator on the cargo ship, the island becomes a blank canvas. Its massive size, relative isolation, and abundance of natural terrain make it ideal for players who want to build something entirely their own. And yet, that act of creation feels almost melancholic. You can build walls, houses, and farms. You can light up the shoreline and plant crops across the grass. You can even staff it with settlers, importing life into a place that never had any. But deep down, it does feel wrong, as if the island doesn't want to be tamed. The settlers you bring here seem out of place, their idle chatter echoing awkwardly across the stillness. No matter how much you build, the silence beneath it remains. Spectacle Island resists belonging. It remains in its heart an island of ghosts. The most remarkable thing about Spectacle Island isn't what it contains, it's what it doesn't. No ambient music plays when you first arrive. No dialogue triggers. The game seems to pause, as though acknowledging that you've crossed into a space outside its rhythm. You can hear the wind rolling off the sea. You can hear your footsteps crunch in the sand. Occasionally, a distant wave will crash against a rock. These are small sounds, but in a game as noisy and frantic as Fallout 4, they feel enormous. It's in this quiet that Spectacle Island becomes eerie. The emptiness amplifies your thoughts. You start to wonder why it exists, why the developers made it so large yet so barren. Why are there no NPCs, no storylines, no clear purpose? And that's when it dawns on you. Spectacle Island isn't about nothing. It's a deliberate experiment in its absence. Spectacle Island can be read as a metaphor for the post-war world itself. Vast, broken, and mostly empty. It's a mirror held up to the Commonwealth's chaos. In Boston, people kill each other for scraps. On the island, there's no one left to fight. It's the end of civilization, distilled into a single landscape. You can almost imagine the island as a failed experiment, maybe once intended as a settler or a naval project before the bombs fell. Now all that remains are half-buried boats, dead power lines, and shattered piers. The sea has swallowed its history, leaving only bones. That's the tragedy of Spectacle Island. It's not just forgotten by the living world, it's forgotten by time itself. Many players dream of finding the perfect home base in Fallout 4. For some, that's Sanctuary Hills, a place of nostalgia. For others, it's the castle, a symbol of power. But Spectacle Island, it's a home for no one. It's too far from trade routes, too distant from supply lines, too quiet for company. And yet, that's also its beauty. It stands as a reminder that not every space in Fallout 4 needs to be functional. Some places simply exist to be felt. And when you stand on its highest ridge looking back toward the mainland, you can see the faint outline of the city skyline. It feels impossibly far away, as if you've crossed into another world entirely. For a moment, you're not a hero or a builder or a soldier. You're just alone. And in a game about surviving the end of the world, that loneliness feels painfully human. So why does nothing happen on Spectacle Island? Because it doesn't have to. The island is Fallout 4's moment of stillness, a deliberate contrast to the rest of the game's noise. It exists as a space of reflection, a blank stretch of land where players can stop chasing quests and simply exist. In a way, Spectacle Island is a test. It asks what happens when you move conflict, characters, and story from a world that thrives on all three. But what is left? The answer is unsettling. You're left with yourself, without quests or dialogue to distract you. The island forces you to confront your own sense of purpose. You start asking the same question the Commonwealth does. What's the point of surviving if there's nothing left to live for? If Fallout 4 is about rebuilding, Spectacle Island is about remembering. It's a place where the world has already rebuilt itself, just not for humanity. The grass grows, the waves roll, and the animals thrive. In the grand symphony of the Commonwealth, Spectacle Island is a final note, a long echoing silence. You can build there if you wish, you can populate it, fortify it, turn it into a thriving base, but you can't escape the feeling that the island doesn't need you. It has existed this way for centuries, quiet, forgotten, and free. Spectacle Island isn't broken, it's complete. It's the only place in Fallout 4 where nothing happens, and in that emptiness, it becomes something strangely profound.